if individual conscience does not trump majority views, then the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is pointless and not worth the paper it's written on. So the answer is absolutely yes. Besides, if the vaccines were safe and effective, there wouldn't be an issue about take-up. So, people who did take them up would not be anxious about people who hadn't, and the people who don't want to would be understood to have their own proper reasons. And if people don't agree with those reasons, yes, freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, and freedom of association, for that matter, would kick into play as it's supposed to. At the moment, I agree with Dr. Masson, we are operating in a perpetual state of exception in which constitutional rule has been suspended, rule of law has been suspended. We don't need a way out of COVID because COVID is no longer a serious problem. What is a serious problem that we need a way out of is rule by fiat instead of the rule of law.
And, you mentioned that rule by fiat, and, I'm not trying to alarm our viewers, but, many Canadians have left and have left their home countries and come to Canada as immigrants to escape that kind of totalitarianism, that authoritarianism. My own father escaped communism to come to Canada, start a family, and live freely. And so many people have said now, well, we don't feel our conscience rights are being respected in this country. We feel with COVID, things have just been cast by the wayside. That's not why we came to Canada. We chose this life. And I worry about that. I worry about the dozens of, university students I hear from. I worry about some of them who have submitted to the mandate because they feel they have no choice but to get the vaccine, or else they can't graduate from university or college, weeping, sobbing as they get the injection. And I think to myself, this shouldn't be how healthcare is delivered in Canada.
It certainly shouldn't be. And I have had stories and contacts from students and colleagues. I've also had conversations with people in healthcare and people very highly placed in healthcare who know what's going on in the hospitals. And they are also being threatened, of course, as you know, by these mandates. Our society and the government itself cannot afford to lose these people, but it's willing to lose them at the expense of patient care because it wants a universal passport system. That's the reason.
At all costs. And I've made this clear to a few people in discussing this very issue with them, Tanya, that we allegedly have mandates from government, which, as you said, are fiats. What I note to them is that we have no law on the books that says that these people must do this. The universities have, clicked their heels and fallen into line. The hospitals have done likewise. The employers are ahead of the curve on the mandates. Yet there is no legislation on the books. In Ontario, the legislature is in recess at the moment. It would take months for them to pass a bill through. Until such time, there is no law in Canada or in Ontario that would mandate that they are required to do this. So they are liable themselves for these mandates. And I think that we are going to eventually end up in the place where we are going through something in the order of Nuremberg trials once again for those who have aided and abetted this coercive regime, which violates every charter right and every ethical code that was delineated in Nuremberg right after the Nazis did exactly these sorts of things and co-opted the medical community.
Okay, well,
and every university has this code of ethics, and they willfully ignore them, and almost no professors have spoken out against it.